Next up, we have Ogi Kovacevic, or Kovacevic. Kovacevic, I'm sorry, third time's a charm. He's the VP of Strategy for O-Power, and he'll be doing a presentation for us right now, so please give me your attention.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here. It's my first big European conference. We have these in the U.S. quite a bit. It's really interesting to see a lot of the same topics and discussions happening here in Europe. So I hear a lot about the customer at this conference, which is great to hear. Let me ask by seeing a show of hand from the audience of how many people in this room believe customer engagement is critical to smart grid success. Well, I was hoping at least some people will not put their hands up so I can go to the next slide. But if we, let me see here. So for those of you who did not, for those 3 people in the room who did not put up their hand, and this, here's a not so fun fact. If you Google pitchfork wielding mob, if you just go to Google and put pitchfork wielding mob, any guesses what the first result would be on the internet? That's not fair, you know this answer. So yeah, that's right. It's smart meter. There's actually an article in The Guardian UK that talks about the smart meter. And I found this very surprising because, you know, it's not you would expect a horror movie to come up or potentially something about the financial meltdown all over the globe, but you see an article about the smart meter. So why is this? I think there are many answers. We've heard in this conference many answers. There are concerns about privacy. There are concerns about, there are conspiracy theories around the U.S. That smart meters have radiation. There are concerns about the cost and so on. But at the end of the day, the answer is because we've failed to engage our consumers. We as an industry have failed to involve the customer in this journey of the smart grid. So let me get back to that in a second and just have a quick segue to who we are as a company. We haven't been in business for 109 years, so we're not quite as well known. So I thought it would be interesting context to know a little bit about us. O-Power is a 300-person company. We specialize in customer engagement for the utility industry. We have about half of those 300 people are engineers. The other half are statisticians and behavioral scientists and a few marketing people. We have offices in Washington, D.C., and we're now all over the world in San Francisco, London, and Singapore. And we've lucky enough to be named the Clean Tech Company of the Year this year. And this is because we've been working with 75 utility clients all over the world to help them engage their customers. And we've been doing this at scale. I wanted to show you this graph just to make the following point. We are live today with monthly meter data or more frequent in 15 million homes. A lot of this is in the U.S., but it's also around the world. And as a consequence, we have learned a lot of lessons around what works, what doesn't work when it comes to getting customers to pay attention and getting customers to take an action. And because we're operating at such a large scale, today, and I think about 3 months from now, by the end of this year, we will have achieved 2 terawatt hours in rigorously measured energy savings. And in addition to the energy savings, I feel a little constrained. I'd like to see here what's going on. In addition to the energy savings, this is the other important outcome of engaging customers with smart meters. We're seeing a very opposite picture of what I showed on the first slide, which is customers' opinion of the utility really improving. And you see here the light blue and the dark blue. This is utility customers who have not been exposed to the program versus customers who are exposed to the program, where they're giving them information and insights coming from smart meters. And we're seeing opinion of utility going up as much as 10%, and to our surprise, even overall satisfaction with the utility, so including price and reliability and other factors that we cannot control, the overall customer satisfaction with the utility goes up. This is quite a very sort of heartening finding for our industry. So you go from pitchfork-wielding mob to improved customer satisfaction for customers who are engaged as part of the smart grid. So I wanted to spend some time. I know I have limited time, but there are many reasons, many lessons we've learned for how to achieve this, and there are probably hundreds, and I'm happy I can talk about this stuff for days. But I wanted to distill it to 4 lessons that I think stand out the most to me. So in terms of how to successfully engage your customers, how to get your customers, how to bring them along to support the smart grid. First lesson is this: build it, and they may not come. And we see this pattern all over the industry, all over the globe. We have 75 utility partners, and we talk to another 100 all over the world. And the story repeats itself. The story goes like this: we're going to put smart meters in, and very soon thereafter, we're going to put up a web portal that's going to show hourly, maybe even 15-minute data, and voila, we got customer engagement, everybody's happy. Let me remind you of these 2 companies. You may have heard of them, Google and Microsoft. This is exactly what they try to do, and these are arguably the 2 biggest brands on the planet. And they took the data, they put it on a web portal, and they tried to get customers to come to their sort of already visited pages and to come and engage with their smart meter, with their data. And only less than 2 years later, both of these companies have decided to walk away. And so for those of you out there who have smart meter-enabled web portals who are not getting a lot of traffic, don't feel bad if that's what's happening. This is happening all over the world. Customers are not coming to these portals. Why? Well, the first reason is energy data is boring. And so it's interesting to me, I'm sure that's interesting to other people in this room, but energy data in itself is really not enough to get people to go to a web portal and pay attention. And the second reason, there are many reasons, these are the top 2, is that even if you succeed to get the customers to really take significant action to save energy, the per household, the specific numbers are really not that compelling enough to get them to change their behavior on a big scale. And this is a misconception, because the utility marketing is a lot about the finances. So even if you get a customer to save €5 a month, which I think for the average European bill is probably north of between 5 and 10% of their bill, that is still, even for the lowest income segment, is not enough to be really exciting, to really get them to do something a lot different. I mean, that's what we say in the States, that's a Happy Meal in McDonald's, or 2 espressos here, I guess. I don't know how much, is there really that much for an espresso, maybe? So the good news is there's this concept called gamification that's really popular in the US software industry right now all over the world, which is rooted in a lot of behavioral science research. And that is, there's a way to present this data to the customers to make them care, to make them pay attention. So this is a screenshot from a social media part of our platform. That's based. It's in partnership with Facebook. We build this view that sits on top of our utility analytics platform that connects to the Facebook social graph and allows people, with everybody's permission, of course, to sort of share their energy consumption with their friends and see how that compares. So that's what's called in behavioral science normative messaging. How do you compare to what is normal compared to your peers? And people tend to engage with this in a very, very large percentage. But that's not enough. So you have a normative messaging, behavioral science, and gamification. The other aspect is you really have to be proactive about it. So in the United States, we decided to do this in the mail and via email, and we take the behavioral science and the normative messaging, and we proactively send it and put it in front of the customers. And what we've been able to see is game-changing numbers. From less than 5% of customers who go on a web portal, we've seen 80% plus of customers not only read and engage with the information they're being given, but take action as a consequence. So that's really hardness. So the first lesson is be proactive. Don't expect them to come. However, if you put information in front of them, they will pay attention and they will like it. Lesson 2, customers want insights, not data. So I hear about this in Europe a lot. In the first few years of the smart grid revolution in the United States, it was very similar. The temptation is, okay, now we have all this data. We have hourly data, 15-minute data. Let's take all that data and just give it all back to the customer. The more, the better, right? Everybody can use more data. In fact, let's go even a step further and give it back to the customer in real time. So all the data, all the time, 24/7. And what we've found is, so far, the in-home display industry has essentially failed. This is an article in GigaOM about 2 years old. And ever since this article, the in-home displays companies have been changing their strategies, so forth, to go away from real-time data and to be more towards the insight. And why is this? I think part of the reason is the iPad and the iPhones and the Galaxies of the world are starting to exist, so a new display is not necessary. But part of the reason is this. Raw data to a human is hard to comprehend. I mean, this is actually from our system. It's daily data, hourly data from exported from our system, so this is what you see. And if you look at the in-home display studies in the United States, if you look at the results, what happens is it's interesting for a while, but then Monday doesn't look that different from Tuesday. Tuesday doesn't look that different from Wednesday. And after a while, the batteries run out, they put it in a drawer, and they stop paying attention. So instead, what if we fed this data to the computer and gave them a very simple insight? The insight is, in your specific home, you spend about 19% of home on heating, and we can tell you how that compares to what is normal and give you 3 actionable tips. So the main insight that we have, the more data you have, the less you actually have to show the customer. The more specific the information, the more simple the dashboard information you have. So it's actually quite the opposite of what the initial industry trend has been. Lesson number 3, customers expect something new. So this is a real story. My utility, where I live in Washington, D.C., is rolling out smart meters, and I was very excited about it because I'm in this industry and I'm a smart meter geek. So I've been expecting to see what they're going to do. And this is what I got in the mail, preparing for the new smart meter. And this is a very dense text explaining everything. And if I remember when I read this, the only thing I really remembered from this is, I think, bullet number 3, where the installers will knock on the door, and if you're not there, they're going to come in anyway. I remember remembering this. And so I'm a smart grid enthusiast, and I came away from this concerned. So it's no surprise that other people who don't know what's going on are not really supportive of the smart grid. I mean, I've been excited to see this, and I came away not really not wanting to call my utility company, ask them why they're doing this. But this is really, in addition to doing a better job, obviously educating the customers, something more friendly than this, the big opportunity is this. There's a lot you can do with smart meter data today, with today's technology. And this is just an excerpt, of course, from our platform. But home energy reports that give you insights about your data, a new portal, a new mobile app, alerts that alert you to a high bill, a new customer representative tools. When customers call, you can give them new insights over the phone that they can notice, integration with social media, targeted discounts and coupons based on the energy consumption data that really can save them a bunch of money, and of course, home control. Sometimes people ask me, what do you think the killer app is of the smart grid? And I tell them, sitting on my couch and changing the thermostat without needing to get up. It doesn't have to be that much more innovative than that. We can do that today. And what's interesting is this platform exists today. This is our platform. Other vendors have parts of these products. And we can probably stand this up for a utility within 3 months because it's a SaaS as a service company. And the cost of putting this in place is probably less than 1% of the overall cost of the smart grid program. So to put this in place, to deliver a new experience to the customer, it's basically a very minuscule incremental cost, and yet a lot of utilities omit to do this. And it's a mistake because customers expect, when they hear a smart grid, they expect things to change. So talking about the killer apps, the last one is energy efficiency and demonstrated energy efficiency. So customers cannot see the energy consumption. They certainly have it's sometimes difficult to see when they save as a consequence of these new measures. So being able to have a system that not only has the analytics to target insights and tips on the customers on the front end, but then pick up the delta in their usage on the back end and be able to display it back to them in a way they can understand. So this is a module that we have on our home energy report, which gives you your neighbor rank. How efficient or inefficient are you? compared to 100 anonymous neighbors or people in your area. And then you can see your progress over time, and you see feedback. Okay, so I was 69, made it all the way to 41. This is working. I'm actually saving energy. It doesn't have to be put in dollars. They understand this ranking. And of course, there's customers and positive reinforcement. There are customers that set goals, and you can give them the positive reinforcement on an ongoing basis and say, good job, keep going. We're running out of time? Okay, just quickly here. And of course, and celebrating success. And this to me, this to me is the opposite of the pitchfork picture, which is, this is a customer National Grid where we have over 1 million homes exposed to this program. They've saved over $16 million in rigorously measured savings. And you have a customer with a lieutenant governor of the state on TV saying, because of this data given to me by utility, I'm saving money, thank you. This is exactly the picture that we want to see, and it's because energy efficiency at the end is the reason we're doing this. So I was gonna play a video, but I think I'm out of time. So let me just summarize. Smart meter alone can lead to this. But smart meter plus customer empowerment and new tools can lead to a happy customer, a happy and engaged customer, and we've seen it. And if you'll allow me, the last slide I'll say is why, it's a reminder why happy and engaged customers are so important. By the end of this year, the customers using O-Power products will have saved enough energy to essentially power the city we're in of Amsterdam. So we're very excited about that, and we're just beginning. I think as utilities roll out more smart meters and we have these programs at scale, we're going to be able to take entire countries off the grid. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ogi. And we have a few minutes for questions again. So I'm sure there are a few questions in the audience. So, all right.
My name is Matai Glenu. I'm from Vancouver. So I am part of smart meter implementation for BC Hydro, but I cannot speak on behalf of BC Hydro, but I am an independent consultant. So we are rolling out 1 million smart meters to the customers, but we have not reached that phase of customer interaction because our CRM implementation will be the last phase. So there we'll be implementing the total interaction with customers. Now it is kind of like without rolling smart meters, we cannot set up all the other systems and the meter readings and aggregate readings and things like that. So no, I was just correcting him because he's show a slide that no, we are not engaging with the customers, but the customer interaction part of CRM is the last phase of the implementation.
Yeah.
So
and thank you for that comment. And it's a very typical situation that we
yes,
see,
I know,
which is
I know
put the smart meter in first and then wait and figure out what to do with the customer. And one of the things we like to tell utilities, you need to start thinking about your customer strategy a year or more before you even put the smart meter in, and start putting things in place so those things can coincide when the meters hit the ground.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shailesh Tekurkar from SAP. Can you tell me a bit about how you calculating the efficiency figures for each customer? Benchmark, you mentioned that you compare each customer with millions of unknown customers. So just an insight in terms of how you do that.
So thanks for that question. What we do is, the entire basis of what we do is test versus control, finding a peer. What we do is our engines take the utility data, they also take weather data from third parties, and create a customer profile. And what we're able to do is find a peer set of customers, which is a non-trivial thing to do, but this is what we specialize in, of customers who are just like them. Similar sized home, similar geographic location, so we try to do it within a radius of the house, so they're experiencing the same local economy, the same weather at the same time. And we take 100 sort of for the average, and so what we do is give them a sense of how they're doing for what is normal meaning the average of people in their, of similar looking houses with a similar heating time and so forth in their area. So we'd be able to calculate that standing and then see that improve over time.
Cheryl Linder, IBM. Thank you for the presentation. It was very good. I have a question for you on your proactive energy reports. How do you deliver those, and what's the most effective way to deliver those? Are you using mail or other mechanisms?
Yeah, so in the U.S., because of the bill, because we bill on a monthly cadence, we found that the bill was so the monthly mail report was the most effective way to engage the customers. We also do it over email and digital channels. Now, in Europe, that's not the case. So, and it varies by utility. I think the philosophy that we have is engage the customer where they are, not where you wish they were. And sometimes we wish they came to the website and so forth. So we need to figure out ways, and I think it varies by utility, but we figure out ways to engage the customer in a way that makes the most sense. In fact, when we first started the company, we're a bunch of software guys, our instinct was to put up a web portal as well. That was my first product, but we quickly realized that wasn't going to get mass engagement, so we found the mail channel in the U.S. Other channels here, I believe the mobile channel in Europe is a very, very promising one for customer engagement. People use it. It's quite advanced. So I think that may prove to be the channel of choice for Europe.
Thank you. We'll stop the questions here because we will have another half hour at the end. So that please join me in a round of applause for Oggy's presentation and George.